What's up, y'all? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Musicians on Gigs. Now, this episode is called My Performing Experience in Thailand. Now, I've performed all over the world. Now, I'm not going to exaggerate that because there's a lot of places I haven't been, but I've performed extensively over in Asia, and it's been an amazing ride. I think one of the most amazing parts about it is how drastically different a lot of places are. You know, you just think, oh, Asian culture. That's not the way it works. You know, you got different parts of the world. You have different religions. You have different currencies. You have different cultures, and it's just a plethora of uniqueness that if you're really paying attention, it just changes your life. It changes your mindset. And as a performing artist, I've been able to see deeply how different cultures act, how they relate to you, how they feel about you as an artist, how they feel about you as an American, you know. And I want to share, I'm going to do several of these videos, but I'm going to share this one is going to be about Thailand, my favorite place to perform, the place that I fell in love with the most as a traveling singer. And so here we go. The first thing I'm going to say about Thailand is that they are probably the most welcoming people that I've ever met in terms of being in a foreign place. Just happy people, you know. Mai Panarai Ka, you know, that means like everything's fine, it's cool, don't worry. That's their lifestyle. It's like sabai, you know, it's all good, chill, relax, and they live that way. You know, they live off the land. They will. And Thailand is a burgeoning, you know, country. It's expanding. It's a huge mecca for tourism, and they create these hotels and these condos for foreigners and for people to come over to take their vacations. But a lot of them still live in houses that their grandparents or their great-grandparents built themselves. A lot of them still live in houses or apartments where they pay, the rent is like 60-70 bucks a month, you know. So they can live off the land. They can grow their own fruits and vegetables, in terms of like they'll be out there, they'll be planting it, and then once it's ready, they'll be, you know, cleaning it and peeling it and putting it on the stove and serving and eating. And yeah, you still have fast food restaurants over there, and they're still on and popping. But to really see how adapted to nature that this culture, that these people are, is fascinating to me. I mean, to imagine growing up like that, where the staple foods were healthy foods as well. It's mind-boggling. Like when I would go outside, and I know I'm talking a lot about the people, but when I would go outside, I would just see them, you know, with their fruit carts. I mean, that's a common thing in Thailand, is every street corner. Yeah, you got the chicken guy, you know, or the scorpion guy, because they will cook up any and everything. Don't get it twisted. But you have mostly all of these street corners. If you have a meat guy, or kamen kai, which is one of their staple meals, or you have you have the person who serves this food that's kind of like chicken or fish or something that's that's like a little acidic. Then you always have somebody over here with the greens, with the fruit platters, with their fruit in a bag or on a stick. There's this balance of alkaline acid. They know well how to stay in harmony. And that's what I noticed, and that's what I find so amazing. And what compelled me there is because you don't need a whole lot of money to live off of the land and be comfortable and happy. You don't need the fancy stuff. You don't need all of the stuff that we have just to feel like we're doing something and going somewhere and being something, to actually be fulfilled. And another thing about Asians in general, usually they live together, usually until their kids are out of college and maybe found somebody and married, and then they will probably move into their own place, and then the parents move into that place with them. But they usually have very little debt, because they're not forced out so early on in life to make something of themselves before they actually learn the value of money, or had a good solid educational background behind them, or learned a trade or a skill. It's completely different over here in America, right? Americans are like, yo, I graduated high school, going to college maybe, but like 18, 19, 20, what? Still living at home with mom and dad? You need a job, you need to do this, you need to be paying rent, or you need to get out. But over in Asia, because I've dated a few Asian guys, their parents, they don't see them really as adults until they actually have a solid financial footing, job security, and maybe even, found a girl or a guy to kind of like settle down with and think of family stuff. They don't try to start making them think about grown people-ish in their 20s. Usually they be at home with their parents until they're 30 and maybe even older. But that's something that over here in America, it's just like, you still living with your parents? Like the mindset is different. And I noticed that, and it took me a minute to deal with those differences and to realize, wow, it's just, it's not the same. But performing in Thailand is like one of my greatest memories, because the way that they treat you as an artist, the way that they make you feel on stage, it's like they make you feel like you are the person who wrote and performed that song and made it famous all around the world. The love that they give you, the support that they give you, they are already welcoming because you're a foreigner coming to their land. But more than that, it's like, wow, you're up here performing for me. And if you sing something in their mother tongue, if you learn their language, if you learn a Thai song, you perform it, you're just like a goddess or a god to them, because it's like, oh my God, you took the time to learn my language. I understand you and I can sing the song with you, and you're doing a great job. Not just Americans go over there and perform. There's a lot of Filipinos over there as well. There's a lot of Australians over there as well, and artists, because and English people over there as well from the UK. There's a lot of us over there just performing because the opportunity is there and the love is there. I had one issue, kind of like, because I had been over there, I want to say, since like 2015, I think. Maybe earlier than that, but like I think 2015 might have been my first time over there, I'd say. And I didn't have any issues until like 2018, or 2019, 2018, I think, where I actually got deported. Yeah. So you got to be careful working in Thailand, because in Thailand, things can be real mai pinadai and sabai and everything's all cool, and today money is the name of the game. And that's a lot of places in the world, but in Thailand, money is the name of the game when it comes to you being able to legally work in that country, being able to be there without a problem as a foreigner, without a work permit. Okay, just real talk. Everywhere you go as an artist, you need you should point blank period have a work permit. Those cost a lot of money, and some people, some clients, they try to skirt around it, especially if they have some locals that are actually running the business too. There's ways around everything, and the more money you have, the more things you can get going. But just for your better safety and protection, having a work permit is ideal. And I've had situations when I've been over there and it's just been like, all right, well, I can't get you a work permit to so-and-so, and then you have to make the choice Do you want to work under the table? Do you want to take the chance of somebody saying, hey, I saw you on stage, let me see your work permit, and then you get caught up, you know? Or do you want to just be like, no, I can't work until this happens for me, and you told me you was going to have one for me, so until you get it renewed or get me one, I'm not working. So the opportunity to slip and slide, you know, ride with the law and be a good, law-abiding person versus take those back alley sideways, more than any other country I worked in, is Thailand. Because I don't know, like there's just this very cool, relaxed kind of attitude towards the entertainment field, towards performers, towards these nightclubs, because tourists need something to do. You got all these foreigners in your country wanting to spend their money, and they need something to do. And so you got a businessman or a businesswoman coming over there trying to make some quick money. Hey, I got this money, I want to invest it in a club. So all this paperwork, so things kind of like can get, it is what it is. But luckily to say, knock on wood, I have never been in a situation where Thailand is disappointing me or I landed up in jail in terms of performing there. And when it comes to my permit and working legally, and working and being on stage, I overstayed my visa. And at this time, I wasn't even really working solidly at a specific venue who got me a work permit. I was there as a tourist at this time, just lingering, and that's how I got deported. But it wasn't work related. But as far as performing, I would advise anybody looking for an international performing experience to experience Thailand. I would advise you definitely to get with somebody and to actually learn. Do your homework, do your due diligence in reference to their reputation, so that you know firsthand, so that you're not just going over there because you want to see the country. When it comes to business, when it comes to you making money, when it comes to you uprooting yourself and taking a chance, especially in this entertainment business, which is so fickle, which really, if they're not selling tickets to the place that you're performing at, they're banking on alcohol sales. That's how they're making their money. And if it's not in a hotel, the only source of income for real is going to be at the door and the alcohol sales. So you have to take that into consideration if you go somewhere and you work under the table, because the first thing that goes when an establishment is suffering and the money ain't coming in is the entertainment. And if they flew you over there and everything was cool, you could easily be stuck over there or expected to pay your way out if ain't no money coming in and they're not recouping any kind of gain off of you and bringing you onto the table. And that's anywhere, right? But again, like I said, Thailand, the weather is beautiful. The people are lovely. The thing that I experience and remember the most in terms of racism, if you want to call it that, is that there is a colorism thing there. It's more about the color of your skin, complexion wise, not necessarily, oh, you're black. It's about how dark you are, because I notice amongst their own there's a divide. The darker you are, the more likely you have had to labor and work for somebody else to make your money. So there's just this automatic assumption that you come from a lower class. And it's similar to, the story in America. But like I said, I saw it in between. Like I was just like, wait a minute, this is a reverse kind of, it was crazy to me, because I would see it amongst each other, and then I would talk to Thais and they would tell me the same thing, and it was just like, white is right, even if you all Thai, even if you got a sister who's a little darker than you for some reason have better opportunities. And that was very, very real and alive when I was there, and that wasn't that long ago. So that was my experience. Again, definitely thumbs up all the way for a Thailand gig. Contacts are everything. Networking is everything. And don't be afraid to research again. Reach out to artists who are currently on the gig. Reach out to anybody you can. And if somebody's inviting you over there and offering you a job, ask them for information about the artist. Ask them if you can communicate with the artist currently on the gig. Don't be afraid to get information, because you don't want to put your life on hold, go on this gig, only to realize that you don't like it and you want to go when you could have found out something beforehand. Alright guys, so that concludes my Thailand experience as a performing artist. I performed in a few venues, and a few big venues over there. And they have a lot of international artists and a lot of opportunities for international artists over there. It's not just locals. It's not just famous people, even though they have venues for those as well. There are venues over there in Thailand which will allow independent artists to perform top 40 stuff and even sometimes your own original music. Alright, so once again, thank you for tuning in to another Musicians on Gigs episode. It's your girl Phoenix Nobel, and see you next time.